tonight. Not many young players in Vegas who scored 35 points a game.
Yeah, I thought Cooper set the tone early. He was aggressive. Get to the rim, not settle. He did that for the 37 minutes he was on the floor. 38 minutes he was aggressive. And so again, not just the scoring, but being able to find guys, create opportunities for others, and then defensively he's made some big plays for us. And so to be able to score 35 tonight, last night was at a triple back. So you can see that he started to understand when he dealt back to life.
And just talk about the shot making by Klay. 17 points there.
Yeah, I think when you look at being able to get him going, set screens, and then he came off making shots, it gives everyone an opportunity, spacing-wise, for others to drive. It was nice to see DP set screens and everyone like to get him the ball and get it over to him.
A lot of people probably look at the dribble drive and just talking about his ability to not freaking specifically in the fourth quarter.
He's a Coop. Yeah, Coop. Again, he did it all tonight. He had the ball. We call it one guard. He ran the offense for us. He drove the ball. The ball touched the paint, but got to the rim, got to the free throw line, stepped up and had free throws for us late. Just his composure on both ends. He competes at a very high level, and you saw that tonight, but you saw that last night too. The atmosphere, the metric of the Lakers. He doesn't skip the beat. He's only 18 years old. It seems like he's been in this league before he plays the game right. So it's fun to watch him play tonight.
Early in the fourth quarter there, he got knocked out of his rhythm. He mentioned a couple of turnovers a little bit there off that one. How did you see him be able to kind of settle down and finish strong after that?
Yeah, I think just helping him understand when he spins, they're going to be there. We're playing a veteran ball club, they can set you up that way, and they did. And so just understanding, he stopped spinning, he just kept straight line and understanding. If they're going to make him spin, he's got to be prepared to be strong with the ball, make plays. Again, he did that. Unfortunately, we might not have made the shot, but made the right plays. And so his ability to understand what teams are trying to do to him is at a very high level. And we saw that on display tonight.
Jason, you guys have been on the wrong end of some close losses this season. Is getting a win like this give you any more confidence that this hole that you kind of dug early, you can get out of it as you get your guys back?
Well, that last part of that question is kind of interesting. We lose a guy before the national anthem. So we get guys back. I think when you look at the close games, it's only going to make us better, as the season goes on. But that doesn't mean that adds up to wins. We got a young team out there. You talk about 22 years old, as a two-way starting, 18-year-old Cooper Flagg and Max Christie at 22. So just the experience that these young men are going through. We're playing a lot of close games. We all hate to lose. It doesn't feel good. But this group plays hard. And so you can see it again tonight after a game in LA with the Lakers. We played hard. Unfortunately, just didn't make shots at the end. They did, but this group is quick to push forward, and they did that tonight. But again, we lost another one on the three that the ball bounced and he stepped over and twisted his ankle, and being PJ. Najee steps in, plays another. I think Najee's been playing extremely well for us too.
Just talking about, of course, you just kind of segued into it, but just talking about using PJ in that way and how you have to adjust last minute to include everybody on offense.
Yeah, it's tough when PJ's playing at a high level for us, and he's again the free guys and he steps on the ball as the horn goes off and he twists his ankle. But again, Najee steps up, and I thought again he was big for us. Caleb defensively was big. DP, I think career high in steals tonight was 6. So there was a lot of things that happened that nice next man up mentality. So great team win. Again, Cooper was great. But DP, I thought he played extremely well for us in the sealed position. So did Musa. But there's a lot of key plays down the stretch, and that's coming from playing in close games. Win or lose, but
first time I believe Chris Paul was going to check in, you and him sharing a moment and said a couple things. Wondering if you could share what you guys have said, just what your relationship is like between you two.
Yeah, I think just asking him, what's he going to do after he retires. Where we consider coaching. So that was part of it. The other part is private. But it was a great conversation because he's one that's played the game the right way. I wanted to ask him how he felt because I've been here before. And so, but he, again, I think I said it before, he could be an incredible coach just because of his temperament and his knowledge of the game.
Sorry for the back. But go ahead with questions for Klay when you're ready.
Just that live? Once?
Hey Klay, so hell of a game tonight, hell of a shooting performance. You obviously had some, last week you talked about, John, Myron. I want to actually talk to you a little bit about the respect that you have for players like Kobe and the players before you. Do you think there's a kind of a disconnect to like the younger players today as far as the respect that we have for the players that paved the way like you before them?
It could be. I mean, had many battles with John in the past. Ended the season before, so that might have still been fresh on his mind. And then that player in Miami just, happened to send me off. But he apologized, and it's no big deal, honestly. I just respect you a lot watching on the floor, make an impact rather than chirping. But it's all good. It really is all good. As far as the players in the past, I've loved basketball my whole life. I was so lucky to have a father who played. I have so much respect for the guys who came before us who allowed us to live the life we do as far as the salaries we make, the way we travel, the way we eat. That would not be possible without the sacrifices of the greats who came before us. There's so many. I mean, there's so many. Can't even list them all right now. I mean, we won't do it any justice, but it's incredible how much the league has grown because of that. It's now a global entity, and it's only going to get bigger.
While you're smiling with the salary, what makes you the most pleased with?
Probably Cooper's 35.9. I mean, to do that against some incredible defenders like Kawhi and Thompson is very impressive. And especially on the second half of back-to-back, what an incredible feat for such a young player. And 38 minutes. I mean, that dunk he had over Zubac was probably the best, one of the few best dunks he's had all year. So you see his potential as being a superstar. And even for myself, I knew I was due for a game like this, so I shot the ball efficiently. And I know it's still in me to sway games in our favor and help us win. And it's crazy because I wasn't feeling too well after last night's game. I thought about sitting down, and I was like, I'll play 20, 25 minutes. I got to be out there with my guys. I got to be out there.
Like, how do you make the hardest shots? And they look easy, but the ones you typically make are the hardest ones to make.
Well, they don't look good when I miss them. So when I do make them, I've been doing it for so long. I trust in my ability to regress to the mean as far as my shooting percentages and just being able to get hot. And I haven't been the best starter throughout my career, so I know if I stick with my routine, I'll get better with each passing month.
Klay, talk to us about Cooper's upside and your chemistry with him and where you feel he's going in the future.
I mean, Cooper's upside is limitless. He has every tool to be great. Sometimes I can't believe he should be a freshman in college or a sophomore, whatever he should be. And I said this before the season. I just want to show him how much this means to me, being out there every night, being on the floor with him. I might be in the last chapter of my career, but I still believe I have a lot to give, and he's just beginning, so it's really cool to see that develop. I always remember this clip. I'm not saying he's going to be Kobe, but I remember this clip of Byron Scott looking in the camera talking about how great Kobe's going to be when he was 18 years old. And I feel like
Scott sometimes, you know, just the old wise veteran and got the future of the franchise to my side, so it's pretty cool to be a part of it. And we're all going to be witnesses to what he's going to do for a long time. I mean, he's been showing classes all season.
You've had a lot of those type of hot streaks you had in the fourth quarter, but what did this one feel like for you?
Felt like a relief. I'm shot the ball well these first 20 games, or at least to my standard. So when you have a night like that, after a tough start we've had, it just gives you belief to keep going. And really inspires me to be out there as much as I can. I said this a couple weeks ago that my goal this season is to be the most consistent presence in the lineup. And I know how much work goes into being able to do that, so I'm going to continue being out there for my guys as much as I can.
You mentioned that it was the foot, right? So you didn't report out in the end.
Because my knee was a little sore, a little stiff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of happened there for you to go, and then obviously that changed pretty quick.
To be honest, I jumped in the ocean today and went to the beach. Anytime you touch the earth, it just gives you energy. Went to my boat, got out, beautiful to see, go to the harbor. And I just said, man, I know I'm sore, but this is when your character's revealed. Like, I could have easily sat out tonight because I've been really sore, I've been tired, mentally fatigued, but man, I don't have much basketball left in me. You know? I've been in this for 15 years now. If I could squeeze out a few more years, I'll be lucky. Like, that's, so every night out there is really a blessing.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago in the final, you said that you have struggled to YouTube Game 6 play or something like that. Is that something that you still do from time to time?
Not just Game 6 play. I YouTube my college highlights, high school highlights, and anytime you can see how far you've come, it always gives you a sense of gratitude. And even before the Lakers game last night, I was watching my Pac-10 tournament highlights, and I'm so blessed to play in stadiums since I was 19 years old. And at this point, it's all gravy, still being able to do what I love, and I'm gonna make the most of it while I can.
They hit the reset button right before the game started, when you find out PJ wasn't gonna be able to play.
Oh man, you gotta have the next man up approach. We went through this last season. We were banged up the whole season. And it was fun. Like, I'm gonna look back on those times. Everyone thinks you look back on championship years with the most joy, but literally every season is a blessing, man. Just being able to be out there with your guys, fighting tooth and nail, and trying to scratch and claw for wins is great memories. And I enjoy every day in the match shoes.
Play, I just want to follow up. Like, how do you choose what you like to watch? Like, you're playing staples, do you watch a Pac-10? Like, what kind of goes through your process of choosing what you want to watch? You remind yourself of what you're capable of.
That makes sense. Watch what you did well in that arena that you're about to play in.
Is that it?
Nah, I like watching highlight, especially when I'm in the front. I learned this from John Beeline when I was being recruited. In the late 2000s, it wasn't accessible to watch highlights. Now you go to YouTube and see anything. So it's always good to see the ball go through the rim and have the unshakable confidence it takes to be great.
Last one.
Klay, talk about being a champion and having won, NBA championships. What does that bring to the team in your experience and your inspiration to the other players because of your veteran leadership? And also, what makes Klay Thompson great?
Just some great questions. I said, you're a champion, your true character is revealed when things are going well, and obviously we haven't had the start that we wanted. I'm not gonna shy away from what is transpiring. I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna be out there every night, especially for these young players who are getting their footing in the league, and show them I love to play. And that's what being a champion is. Like, there's plenty of players in the history of the game who never won a ring, but they maximize their potential. To me, that's a champion. Anytime you can have a chance to prove yourself on the best stage of the world, you gotta seize that moment, whether it's November or late June. You gotta treat every game as like it's your last.
Wow, thank you, thanks, Clay.
Raise your hand, one mic.
Cool, so great game for you tonight. What's the biggest adjustment for you coming from, college into the NBA your first season? What's some of the things that you really have to adjust to this year?
Yeah, I think just the physicality. Obviously, these are some of the greatest defenders, in the world. In the league, obviously, Kawhi. Everybody knows what he's done. So I think it's level of physicality. Everybody's super strong, super physical. I mean, it's just everybody's a grown man, so it's just adapting to that.
Talk about that matchup with Kawhi today. Like, as far as did you watch him a lot growing up as a young player? Did you take a lot from his game?
For sure, I think he's somebody that I definitely, obviously want to model my game after. As far as like just playing really, really hard, being an incredible two-way player, playing both sides of the ball at a high level. He's done that for a long, long time.
You guys obviously shorthanded tonight. How did that impact kind of your approach in terms of scoring? And then after you got knocked down a little bit in the fourth quarter, how did you kind of gather yourself, settle down for the strong?
Yeah, I think just listening to the voices around me. Obviously, I think like you said, we've been unhealthy, had some guys knocked up and whatnot, but I think it's just having that next man up mentality, and we have really deep, talented roster right now. So I think it's just having guys step up on individual nights. So I think that's something that we kind of just adapted to and just figured that out. And I think, like I said, just listening to the voices around me. AD, Kai, just being on the bench and just helping me through that, giving me advice, going down the stretch.
Cooper, talk to us about what you've seen thus far, your experience in the NBA, and what do you see that you can improve on or take advantage of against your opponents moving forward?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've kind of adapted to and trying to learn how to use to my advantage. So just the spacing on the floor. Obviously that's one of the biggest changes from college to this level is just figuring out the spacing and how to kind of pick apart defenses using that spacing to our advantage. So I'll continue to learn how to use that and use it to our team's advantage.
Cooper, what are you saying about guys giving you advice? What have been the things that have been on there?
Yeah, just staying confident has been a huge thing. Obviously, it's not easy when things aren't going your way and losing a lot of games, but we play a lot of games. There's a ton more games to go, and so they've just been with me every step of the way of just keeping my confidence high and helping me. Even if it's just little things. Watching certain plays back on the bench when I come out of the game, grabbing an iPad and just dissecting certain plays, things they saw that I could have done better, and just little things like that.
Hey Cooper, how is the spacing different in the NBA compared to college?
It's just more space. Obviously, these are the best players, and when you have guys at a high level that can space the floor and shoot it, there's not as much help. There's more space in the court, so I think that's a part of it. Is just having guys out there. I mean, like Klay tonight, just came alive down the stretch for us, and was just so key, just knocking down huge shots, and then when he's on like that, it just opens up lanes for everybody else.
And when you feel like you do have more space, are you like, all right, I've got more, I can drive more? Like, do you feel like that going into games, like there's more driving lanes for you?
Yeah, I think that's been the big thing, is just getting downhill, making the defense collapse, and then just making the right plays after that, whether it's playing off two and going to finish, or finding the corner or finding an open man.
Lauren Jones, Olympics.com right here. Cooper, so you mentioned that you've gotten a lot of advice from your vets, but what's the single-handed piece of advice that you've gotten from any of the NBA players currently that kind of has stuck with you?
I think something that is, it's come from a lot of different people, is just not to second guess anything. Don't second guess yourself ever. I'm here for a reason. I've gone through every step of the way and been myself. So just not to second guess myself, anytime, anywhere, and just be who I am.
You are connecting a lot from through the third quarter that you had.
Yeah, just another one of those plays, like I said, just getting downhill. Playing with pace, playing with poise. But sometimes, you just have to make an athletic play, and it's really simple at the top.
Obviously, you being the youngest player in the league, you have a lot of records, but when you hear your second youngest to have 30 points in the game, what's what goes through your mind?
It's obviously, it's an honor. It's pretty cool to be in this position, and I just feel blessed, just to, have this opportunity to be here in this league and play through it, and, be able to do things like that. And, I have incredible teammates and coaches around me that, you know, put me in positions to do this.
Do you think yourself as a scorer?
I see myself as an impact player. You know, scoring is part of impacting the game, and yeah, I think I can score the ball at a high level for sure.
Cooper, since you came into this team, there was high expectations, you being the first overall pick. Do you feel like there's more of a weight and a load on your shoulder to kind of carry this team, even though the record may show otherwise, that the expectations that come on your shoulders?
I mean, I don't feel any added pressure. I think, you know, I feel like it's how it is. You know, it's our team, and like I said earlier, you know, it's each individual night could be somebody else's, and we just have guys stepping up and making plays, and you know, being aggressive right now is obviously right for me, and that's what coach has stressed me a lot. Is just got to be aggressive, and we'll live with some of the mistakes, but you just have to be aggressive and trust all the work. And you know, my teammates are extremely confident in me, and I feel that. And when they're confident in me, it enables me to just be free out there.
First off, congrats on being the second, you know, youngest player to, you know, reach the milestone you did. But for me, I think that was what's been very impressive about you is how you get to your spots. At the start of the game, you got to the elbow. A lot of times you've been seeing a lot of double teams. You get into the nail where you can't send a double team to you, and you're making the right pass range. You have 11 assists, and today you have 35 and 8. For you, like, what's been like the biggest thing that you've seen in terms of like making your reads, getting to different spots, and just having a high IQ out there? And I think that's something that's really sticking out about you right now.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is just knowing personnel as well. You know, obviously you got to know some guys' tendencies. You know, a lot of people talk about offensive tendencies and what guys like to do, but you know, defensive tendencies is a big part of the game as well. You know, there's certain guys that you know are coming off other people to, you know, come help, and when you turn your back, and that's something that I'm going to keep getting better at. Like tonight, I thought down in the third, fourth quarter, I had a bunch of careless turnovers. Just I knew they were coming. You know, I'm turning my back, but it's got to be smarter. So those sort of things, like you can just learn that, and you know, once you get kind of elite at reading those sort of things, it just opens up, you know, another world of just being effective.